My name is George Ethan Cox. I'm your RYT 200-hour certified yoga instructor, and I have an awesome class for you today that's going to kind of help you switch your perspective on things a little bit by changing the patterns of movement that we bring onto our mat and hopefully carry off of our mat during our day. Before we get started, I want to let you be aware of two things. First thing is tonight, Wilkes Recovery Revolution is bringing our annual Revolution rally. That is in the Commons in Wilkesboro. So be sure to attend that. It starts at 5 and goes on until 10 this evening. It has a lot of awesome music, so be sure to come out. The second thing, next week, the 16th of September, I will not be able to teach inside the gym. Our class will be exclusively online that Saturday. So I'll be teaching from home. But in order to give you great content every week, I will be presenting a new online class from the comfort of my house. So just wanted to let you know if you had intentions on visiting in person, the gym will not be open for yoga class, but there is a visiting gentleman who's going to be teaching some dumbbell workouts here. So if you want to tune in for that, come into the Hive Fitness Studio in Moravian Falls. With that being said, I'm grateful for you all for showing up today, and thank you for taking the time to practice yoga with me. Thank you, Hive Fitness Studios, for sharing your space so I can teach every Saturday. And thank you, Wilkes Recovery Revolution, for sponsoring these practices. All right, you guys, we have an awesome practice today. We're starting on our mat standing up today, and make sure that you have one or two blocks handy. If you do not have a block available, maybe a book will do, or a box that you might have available, or even a can of food. I know it's crazy, right? But yes, that's as long as you can bring the floor up to meet you, that is our goal. All right, so we're going to begin just standing. You can have your feet hip width apart or completely together. Just want to kind of in your feet. Maybe you rock gently back and forth just to feel nice and grounded. Have as generous of a knee bend as you need, and just feel rooted here. Start beginning to notice the breath. And first, we're just going to take a normal breath, and then we're going to incorporate movement into our breath work. So just take a big breath in through the nose. Sigh it out. Relax your shoulders. One or two more breaths like this at your own pace. Just take a big, deep breath here. All right, from here, we're going to incorporate some movement. So when you inhale, we're going to lift our arms up into the sky, hands parallel, inhale. As we exhale, we float it down like we're pushing the air down at our sides. Then our hands meet our sides here. Inhale, lift the hands forward, up and back. Exhale, push it down. Nice and slow. Take your time. Inhale, lift. We're opening the heart space. We're creating new energy. Use your breath to guide you. Inhale to lift. Exhale to gently push the energy down. Keeping your heart lifted. Last one. Inhale, lift the hands up to the sky. Exhale, lower, lower, lower. Now place your hands together at your heart center. Lift your sternum up to meet your thumbs. And we begin today's class in Tadasana with Anjali Mudra, our prayer hands. So take this opportunity to notice how you feel to start. Take this opportunity to just follow your breath from moment to moment. Maybe you close your eyes, take a few breaths here. Set an intention for your practice today, be it to learn something new, to gain some perspective. Maybe it's to find a better bond with our breath, to create a better relationship from the mind to the body, and how we treat ourselves when we move. Keep breathing here. Just be mindful when we're moving in today's classes, our poses that we're going to be holding today will be for 1 to 2 minutes. And in honor of changing our patterns of how we move today, we're going to start right away with our triangle pose, which is usually considered a peak pose, and then working our way to the ground. So make sure you take your time, make sure when you're moving, and be observant of how you feel. Anything that might feel strenuous to the point of pain, ease off. There's no judgment, just be mindful. All right. From here, keep your hands together, heel toe, fancy term, your feet apart, a little wider than hip width. From here, you want to pivot your right foot outwards, so it is pointing at the front short edge of your mat, and then follow that with the left foot also pointing at the short front edge of your mat. Keep your heart lifted, engage that core of yours, and we've already prepped for our triangle pose. So like we did before, we're going to go ahead and raise the hands up into the sky. Maybe you find a slight back bend here and engage that core. Open nice and slowly wide, think warrior two, and then we cock that right hip and begin to bend, reaching our right palm down towards the mat. This is an opportunity to grab your block, to place your palm here. If you don't have access to a block, maybe you place your hand gently on the shin bone. Open your chest here for a twist. Breathe here. Remember drawing that core for balance here. Breathe in and out. Now imagine someone's pulling gently on your left wrist. Lift you back up. Pull with that left hand. Lift your arms both back up. And lower to rise, lower the arms to your sides, and lift back up to the sky. From here, we're going to start by opening the back toes outward to face the long edge of the mat here. So kind of pivot it. We're prepping for warrior one, and bend that knee. And you can open your warrior legs as wide as you need to. Breathing here. So we're kind of swapping, we're experimenting our sensations with how we transition from A to B. In this case, it's usually transitioning from warrior and warrior two to triangle, but now we're going from triangle to warrior one. Breathe. You got it. And then open wide for warrior two. Remember the phrase head over heart, heart over pelvis here. Kind of tuck in that tailbone just a hair. Remember keeping your front knee above your front ankle, not splaying out or going beyond your toes here. You can find a little buoyancy here, play around a bit, open up those hips. Pinkies pull back. Draw the abdominals in just a bit. Beautiful. Now we're going to cartwheel down and we move into side angle. Option to place your hand on a block or two. Open wide. Or if you're feeling comfortable, you can place your hand on the ground. And look up. If you want, you can extend your arm to go beyond your head here. Imagine one long line from your pointer finger to your heel on the left. Pull that thumb back, breathe. All right, now lower that left hand, pivot that back foot, keep that front knee bent, and rotate to the right, lifting your right hand up after planting your left hand for a twist. Breathe here. You got this. And exhale, lower that hand down. All right, plant both palms, bring that front foot back. We're going to go not do our flow like we usually do. We're going straight into down dog. You're like, what are you doing today, George? This goes against the flow. Well, again, this is all about changing our patterns to gain a fresh perspective on things and to know that traditional vinyasa flow isn't the only way to go. It's always good to mix things up once in a while. Melt your heart down and back. Take a couple steps towards the middle, and then walk your palms back to meet the feet. Forward fold. Shake your head yes, a little no. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Bend the knees, roll it all the way up to Tadasana. And we're back where we started. For the sake of this video, I'm facing the long edge of the mat, but you do not have to. Actually, yes, you do. So face the long edge of your mat. And heel toe your feet back apart once more, but we're going to go in the opposite direction. So we're going to bring your left foot to pivot out to the left short edge of the mat. And then you follow by the right foot parallel to the left, but back this time. Now you can narrow the stance here or widen depending on where you are. Maybe you want to go ahead and bring your blocks to where your feet are pointing, just in case. And like we did before, inhale. This time, take the back of your hands behind your ears and pull back to open the chest. Nice big stretch. Imagine a line of energy from your fingers all the way to the front toe. Press into that heel. Lift up in the hip bones here. Imagine two headlights shining upward. Hearts lifted. And open wide. Imagine warrior two here. Cock that back hip and we lower down. So we open wide here, hearts lifted. Maybe you use your block here as optional. Keep those legs nice and straight if you can. Maybe a micro bend at that knee at most. Breathe through it. Keep that abs engaged. Lower that back hand. Now, go ahead from here, bend that front knee, pivot out those back toes, open, widen your stance from here, like we're prepping for warrior one. And whenever you are ready, press into all four corners of the front feet, engage the abs, swoop your arms forward, up and back, warrior one. We are strong today. We're starting in a strong way. We are awake, we're alive, feeling the energy. Relax those shoulders with your exhale, finding a rising energy in the front body, a grounding energy in the back. I like to imagine when I'm inhaling, I'm finding a whoosh of energy upwards in the front, and as I exhale, a grounding energy lowering in the back. Nice. Exhale, open the arms wide, warrior two. Nice wide stance. I got a little buoyancy here. See if you can't bend a little deeper into that front knee here. Experiment, feeling your glutes activated. Pull those pinkies back. Remember, head over heart, heart over pelvis. Breathe through it. You got this. Now again, we're starting with the tougher parts here, just to get our bodies going, and so we can have a nice and settling conclusion as we go forward. There's going to be a lot more of a yin experience on the second half of today's practice, so be ready for that. Inhale, exhale, cartwheel down to extended side angle. Version A. You can have your hand on a block, have your elbow on your thigh here. And if you wish, you can extend your hand above your head or beyond your head here. Have one long line from your fingertips to your right toes. Pulling that thumb back. And then exhale, lower. Pivot that back foot to parallel. Plant the right palm on the block or on the ground and twist to the left. Breathe. Beautiful. And then exhale, lower that left hand. All right, guys. From here, we're going to use our hands in blocks here. You can place your blocks in the middle, but walk your hands back to the long edge of the mat that we were facing to start. Feet are parallel, and we're in a wide-legged forward fold. From here, I want you to experiment a little bit, waving from side to side. If you have a micro bend in the knees, that is fine. Go on, you can move to the block and halfway lift, inhale. And exhale, release. Now, invitation to place your hands on your hips to help you transition upward, but find a gentle bend at the knees and roll it up. Beautiful. Heel toe your feet together, and then turn yourself back into a traditional wave standing, toes facing the short edge of the mat. Inhale, reach the hands up high. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Just notice the change in perspective, being upside down with your head below your heart, your hands below your heart, and your feet above your head, so to speak. Just take perspective. What's it like? Just notice without judgment. Breathe. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, instead of planting the palms in vinyasa, we're going to place our palms in front of us, bend our knees, and lowering our hips into a garland pose. You can even grab your arms around your knees. Now, professional yoga people who are way more experienced than I can do this with their feet completely flat on the mat. Not quite made it there myself, but if that's even just wrapping your arms around it is too advanced for you, just place your hands in front of you, keeping your heart lifted. Now sliding your hands behind you, we're going to walk our hips down onto the mat. We've made it to the floor. Beautiful. All right, you guys. So that was the fun part to get started. We were feeling alive and groovy each day. So we're going to kind of find more ease in the next positions, starting with staff pose, simply having your hands at your side, lifting the chest into a nice L shape, toes facing your forehead. Breathe. Maybe you make carve a line with your nose looking up and down. Inhale to look up. Exhale, chin to chest. Now from here, inhale, remember, swoop your arms forward and up, palms parallel. Exhale, fold forward. Your knees can be bent as generously as needed. They don't have to be flat. Allow your belly to drape over your thighs here. Breathe. Feel the back body, the lower back body. Feel the fascia of the skin in the back body expand with each inhale. Feel the tightness of the lower back body. And find ease with your exhale. See if you Can't find a little bit of a melting sensation as you are settled into this posture here. When you're ready, gently use your hands to walk yourself back up. Now, this is an opportunity maybe to grab a blanket. We're going into a hero pose. Hero pose is where you move on to hands and knees. Your knees can touch or be closer together, and you walk your hips back and settle your hips in between the feet here. Now, if this is a little much or a little too intense for you, you can take your block and place it underneath the hips here. Simply experiment with settling into this pose. Just notice what it feels like with this hero posture. Maybe you experiment with walking your hands back, maybe not. Keeping your heart lifted. Some may want to move all the way to where their arms are, while the top half of your arms are flat on the mat. You move into a little back bend. But that is wherever you are today, no pressure. We're only here for a minute. Breathe here, go ahead. Tuck that tailbone in slightly. All right, so we're going to do 2 half heroes, which is you lean back forward, you kick one foot up, it can be whichever one. I'm going to start with my right. And keeping the other foot where it was. Now, this is where you get an opportunity to give a little extra love to one leg. This might feel like a split. You can double up on your blocks if needed. Again, if you have sensitive knees, have a blanket underneath your knees here. Kind of give you a little extra padding, or even roll up your mat. Again, breathe into it. If you feel too much pain, again, double up on those blocks. You don't have to force it or do something that does not feel natural to you. This is, again, just kind of expanding our range of flexibility. Again, we're just here for a moment. Breathe. All right, use your hands to guide you to lift up. We're going to swap, bring our left leg forward now. Walking your hips easily back. Half hero pose. Pressing into the top of your back foot, your left toes reaching towards your face. Again, you don't have to lean back. You can have your hands at your side. Breathe deep. Maybe you experiment with rolling that left ankle here. Focus on your breath. Alrighty. Press into your hands, walk your hips forward and unravel. Find yourself in a nice, comfortable cross-legged seat here. Grab a block and place it under your hips. Just nice, normal, comfortable seat, easy pose. I suggest the block just so you can feel your heart lift. I know if you're not used to, if your hips aren't really loose, that it can be difficult to maintain a lifting in your chest here. So focus on keeping the spine nice and erect here. Breathe deep. Just notice how you feel so far. You might have noticed some bells and whistles going off earlier. It was your brain saying this is unfamiliar. but stepping through those challenges is opening your mind to a new perspective. It's helping you see things a little differently, which life is full of changes, life is full of shifts and patterns. And it's good to kind of lean into those things. And it always creates a learning experience. Just take the time to reflect on what you're learning so far. And if you're not thinking of learning anything, your intrusive brain here, it's really reaping the benefits. So even if you don't think you're learning something, you are gaining benefits. If anything out of this, you're accessing the powers of the breath, using that to move you from A to B, to help you lean into those more intense moments. And you are capable of doing those things. Give yourself some credit. So a couple of more breaths, like 2 or 3, and then we'll transition into our next position. All right. Now, option to keep the block underneath or not. We're moving to dragonfly. So simply have your feet against one another, the bottoms of your feet, knees nice and wide here. Option also, you can place the block underneath your feet for a little more here if you want. Just have your wrapped around your ankles here. Maybe you have a flying firefly here or a dragonfly. Just keep your heart lifted. Maybe option here to give your feet a little massage, a little love here. As your feet carry you throughout the day, little self-care goes a long way. Did not plan for that to rhyme. Breathe deep here. Just giving ourselves a little love. Letting go of what does not serve us in the present moment, which can also be our own thoughts. If they're intrusive and they're not helpful, you can let it go. Focus in on your breath when your mind begins to linger. It can help you clear the air. Really lean into these moments here. Some may be quiet. Invite yourself to allow yourself that quiet time. Give yourself permission, so to speak. All right. Use your hands to bring your knees back together here. And then we're going to extend our legs in front of us and then open nice and wide here for a wide-legged fold. Now, you can go as wide or as narrow as needed. No pressure or obligation to try to force anything. This is just to notice the sensations, to kind of open ourselves up a little bit. But to move into this position, just keep your toes nice and active here, facing your head here, or your center. And then keep your heart nice and lifted. Think swan dive as you glide down, 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 walking your hands forward, nice and easy here. Now your elbows may touch the ground and mat, maybe they don't. That is fine. They can actually still be way up here and your heart's still lifted. You're like, this is it. That's cool. Just breathe. It's okay. We're not trying to compete here. It's not a competition. This is an opportunity to find a bit more flexibility. If you find some natural sway here to kind of open some places up that feel tight, go for it. Again, we're not forcing ourselves into a position, just using our breath to deepen our stretch. Breathe into the lower back body, breathe into the hips, the hamstrings. Breathe deep, my friends. Maybe your chin is guided to your chest, allowing your head to fall and release. Keeping your toes active. Notice how you begin to melt in further into this position as you utilize your breath. If you can go further, you can use double up on your fist or even use your block to rest your head. Really going to feel the fascia of the back body here stretch and tighten. Breathe into that space. Two or three breaths here, friends. You're doing great. When you're ready, nice and slowly, use your hands to walk yourself back up, lifting your heart. Bend your knees one at a time, and we're moving on into all fours. Take your time getting here. Kind of reset. You can do a cat-cow if you wish. That's optional. Just kind of dropping your belly, looking forward, heart lifts with the cow. Inhale, exhale, draw the navel in, arc the back, pressing in and into the mat and away. Maybe bumping your hips side to side. But when you're ready, bring your knees back together. We're moving into hero once again, but we're going to keep our heads reaching down in a folded hero variation. Maybe grab your block again. You can use that to rest your forehead if it doesn't quite meet the mat. But we're going to stay here a minute or two just to ground ourselves, to really feel the connection with the earth, to kind of feel the support of the ground beneath us rising to support us here. Feel supported. When you lean into these new situations, it's so important to have a solid foundation. Your breath, your footing, your awareness of the ground beneath you, that matters in the long run. So just taking that special awareness as we guide our heads down, down, down. Breathe into this moment here. Maybe you slide your hands around behind you. Now this isn't like a typical child's pose, because child's pose, you rest your hips on your feet, but this time your feet is apart. Your hips can be grounded down into it, in between the feet here. But you gently walking your heart forward, keeping your hips grounded, reaching your tailbone down. Breathe. We're not always used to stretching the tops of our feet like so. It's usually the opposite direction where your toes are facing your forehead. But it's so important to, again, kind of flip the switch there to create a new unfolding, so to speak. Just another moment. You guys are doing great. Lift your head, use your breath. Inhale to lift back up to all fours. Cross your ankles behind you and walk your hips back. We're moving back into a cross-legged seat. Adjust as needed. Again, for the sake of this video, I'm going to center myself. And again, option, if you want to have a block underneath your hips, you may. But we're not just doing a normal cross-legged seat. We're going to do a forward fold, cross-legged seat. So Matt, remember the movements that we did at the beginning of class. Inhale, we swoop our arms forward, up and back, heart lifts, and then exhale, float them down before us. Use your hands to guide your heart down. Have your block ready if you wish to use it. Keep your hips focused downward, like your tailbone is reaching down to the mat to keep it grounded here. Now, if your glutes are lifting up off the mat, if you feel your sitting bones remove themselves from the ground, back up a bit. Focus on that grounding. You want to keep that intact as we are finding our stretch by folding. Breathe into it. Keep focusing that tailbone reaching down. Take a moment to look inward. Notice what bubbles up into your mind and let it go with each passing breath like a river flowing by. Like a leaf floating on the river, you see it and then it's gone. Imagine the breath carrying each thought into your mind and letting it float. And try to use your breath with love in mind. Again, we don't move ourselves with pain in our bodies. We want to carry ourselves with kindness. So, again, if this feels at all painful, ease off. That's so much more important to get the most out of your practice by easing into it instead of forcing it. All right, use your hands to walk yourselves back up. Now we're going to cross our legs with the opposite foot close to your pelvis this time. We're going to do it once more, okay? All right, inhale, swoop the arms forward, up and back, heart lifts. Exhale, float it down. Remember, keep those sitting bones nice and glued down to the mat. Ease yourself into it. It doesn't have to be forced into it. You don't have to get there right away. If anything from this, just know that flexibility comes with time, and just know that you can get further with using the breath and holding the posture for longer than you would just trying to go as far as you can right away and then move on. Notice the areas that are tight in the body. Breathe into them. Create new space here. And when you're ready, unravel, walk yourself back up to an upright position. And so we're going to move back into our staff pose like we were before. Legs nice and long, kind of giving your legs a break here. Point your toes away from you and then towards you. Maybe you rotate your ankles one direction and another. Opportunity to lift your nose up to the sky, heart lifts. Then chin to chest, exhale. Inhale, guide your nose to look up. Exhale, chin to chest. Now, one more fold here. Inhale, reach the hands way up high. Exhale, rain it down to the sides of your legs. Forward fold here. Notice if there was a change between here and earlier when we did this. Is it a little bit more simple here? Or have you gone farther now than you had before? Just notice. Or is it about the same? It's okay all of these ways. Simply breathe. All right, walk your hands to lift your torso back up. Lean back into your hands and cross your legs. We're going to do a couple twists now. Kind of wringing it out. Inhale, bring that wonderful swooping sensation forward, up and back. Inhale. Exhale, place your right palm, left palm behind the twist. Heart remains lifted. Think of your spine nice and long. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, draw that navel in and twist a little deeper. No forcing it. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, deepen the twist. Walk your hands back to center. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, twist to the opposite side. Left palm to right knee, right palm behind you. Bring your gaze past your right shoulder, keeping your spine nice and erect here. Find length in the crown. Draw the navel in with each exhale. See if you can't deepen the twist without forcing anything. Awesome. Bring yourself back to center. This time we're going into our staff pose once again, but this time taking our right leg, crossing the foot over the right foot over the left knee, placing the right foot to the left of your left leg, like so. We're going to wrap our left arm around our right leg. Place our right palm behind us like we were for our twist, and squeeze that leg in towards our chest for a grapefruit glute stretch and with a twist. Breathe here. Breathe into your right glute here. Keep your heart nice and lifted, abs engaged. Keep your left toes active, reaching towards you. All right. Now variation, you can take your left elbow and hook it to the right of the outside of your right knee for a little extra twist here. Remember, keep your spine nice and long, heart lifted. Breathe in to unravel. Straighten that right leg, and then we switch. Cross the left foot over the right leg. Wrap your right arm around that knee here. Left arm or left palm behind you. Heart nice and lifted. Crown lengthens and deepen your twist. Gaze to the left shoulder and beyond. Finding a fantastic stretch in the left glute here. Drawing the navel in with each exhale. See if we can't lengthen our breath. Find a longer inhale here. Smooth, long exhale out. All right, variation time. Hook that right elbow to the outside of the left knee. This gives you a bit more of a deep twist in the abdomen. Keep it nice and long in the spine. Again, any pain, ease off. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Use your breath. And unwind. Nice and easy. All right. So, scoot your hips forward. Walk your hands back just a bit. And lean, and like squeeze your elbows together like grasshopper legs. And lean into your shoulders, feeling a great stretch in the shoulders here. And you should feel it in the low back as well. Imagine your tailbone reaching forward or using the mat and the friction here to kind of tug at your low back body to get a really good stretch in the low back. Squeeze those elbows together. This is just for a second here. All right, lift your heart here. Maybe your fingertips are facing away from the body. The feet nice and wide, and then we're going to rotate our knees to the left. We're doing windshield wiper legs. Nice and slowly. We're not going to hold them so much as we are going to just go very slow, just to notice the sensations. Giving our glutes a little massage, kind of resetting our low back. And your fingertips can face the body as well, just wherever you're at today. All right. So maybe you want to grab 2 blocks here, but we're doing a reclined butterfly. This is kind of where we're just sitting in where we are, just being for a little bit. This is a bit where I said we're transitioning into a yin situation here. Use your hands to walk yourself back into a full recline. Maybe use the other block to support your head. Place your hands on your belly or place them on your heart or place them at your sides facing the sky. Shimmy those shoulder blades in and underneath the chest. Now feel supported here in butterfly. Oh, also option, place your hands on your hip creases here. If you want to give a little love here to kind of ease the tension in the legs, you may. I'm going to choose to place my hands on my belly here. Just notice the rise and fall with my breath. Earlier we talked about using your breath to kind of ease the mindset, to let go of intrusive thoughts, to let go of things that don't serve you in the present moment. This kind of brings a physical of using the breath. You just bring your awareness to the rise and fall of the belly with your inhales and exhales. Notice how full it is. See if you can expand a bit more with each inhale. A couple more breaths here. All right, when you're ready, use your hands to guide your knees slowly together. Now, you have an option here for where we're going forward. We're doing leg up the wall pose. If a wall is not available to you, you do not need one, but I'm just saying that if you want to go to the wall, you may. It's simple a matter of whenever we started before, um, when we started in previous classes, we just bring our thighs up towards our heart. And where my feet are now, that would be where you place the feet on the wall, and then you slide one up and then the other. If you want to do it without a wall like me, you may. Just focus on reaching your toes towards your forehead here. Now, you can also think of it like a staff pose where the roles have kind of been flipped. Instead of your torso being up, your feet are up this time. And your knees do not have to be perfectly straight. They can be slightly bent. We want to focus more on the aspect of changing the flow or the direction of blood in our bodies here, which bringing your feet above your head, even for several minutes at a time, can have great benefits. You might feel a little bit of shakiness from all of our stretches today. We used our legs a lot today, so be proud of yourself. But this kind of is helpful if you're on your feet quite often, or even not. Just notice that in our lives, we spend a lot of time with our feet below our hearts. So when we kind of switch it, we kind of alleviate a lot of buildup that has been continuing for a while. Your heart is 2/3 of the way up the body from where your feet are. So imagine all the work your heart's putting into getting that blood circulating from your feet back up through the rest of the body. This kind of helps reset that and gives your heart a break here. You might feel a little coolness or a little tingly feeling in the feet. That's fine. That means it's working. The blood flow is shifting. You can even have your hands above your head. Kind of get a full heart stretch. Take all the time you want here. We'll transition in a moment. Completely flush with the mat. And when you're ready, bend the knees one at a time or together and give yourself a hug. Give yourself some love here. Maybe you find a gentle sway side to side. Maybe you give yourself a little low back massage. All right. From here, grab hold of the right knee, extend the left out long, and lower it to the ground. From here, open your right arm out wide and guide your right knee over to the left for a supine twist. Maybe you take your gaze to the right here for just a minute or two. Keep your heart nice and open. Keep your shoulder blades nice and glued down to the mat. And bring your knee back to center. Squeeze it in. Give yourself another hug. Elongate the right leg this time. And lower it down. And then switch roles. We guide our left knee over to the floor. Like so. Extend the left arm out long. Heart nice and open. All right. Nice and slowly unwind. Now time for a little yoga freestyle before we enter Shavasana. You could do maybe a bridge pose, or you could do a boat pose. You can do plow pose, since we were in the mood for leg up the wall pose. Really change your perspective on that one. You could do happy baby, kicking one leg up at a time and the other. You can repeat a pose that we did earlier. You can focus on whatever is needed to be focused on to relieve any stress in your body. You can bring your knees together and give yourself a low back massage, giving yourself some little knee circles. Breathe deep. Now, this pose is really good for opening up the hips. When I was growing up, I used to dive off the diving board a lot. We used to call this the can opener because it would make all the big splashes the way that you would hit the water at an angle. All right. Whenever you're ready, we're going to melt the feet down, opening the heel off the mat. Keep your shoulder blades shimmy underneath the heart space as your hands rest, palms facing up towards the sky. Find ease here. You're supported. Take stock of how you feel. Just breathe. And softness in the forehead. Ease in the jaw, releasing the tongue from the roof of your mouth. You made it. This is your chance to reflect. You could pause the video and stay in Shavasana as long as you need. Just taking that time for you to just be without movement and to just allow yourself to let the breath move you, or to let the breath carry you from moment to moment. We'll keep Shavasana short today. You can wiggle the fingers and toes and bring your awareness back into the space. Bend your knees one at a time and lower them to your favorite side to turn. Then press yourself back up into a seated position. And we conclude today's practice with gratitude as always. We bring our hands to our heart in Anjali Mudra, and we bow to say to one another, Namaste, which means the light in me sees and honors the light in you. And I thank you all for joining in today. It's an absolute honor to get to share my practices with you. Again, next Saturday, we will be doing it live though, so just be sure to tune in and to share. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, please do so in the comment section below. Just know that I love you guys, and I'm excited to see you again next time. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Oh, also, be sure to come out to the Wilkes Recovery Rally tonight at 5 p.m. in the Wilkes Commons. See you guys.